the agenda again. The next item is continued, it's not continued public hearing because we closed the public hearing. It's the 23 to 31 Bridge Street site plan / special permit planning board case 2016-12, which was continued from our January 11, 2017 meeting. I'd ask the department to reread its recommendation from that meeting.
The department recommends that the board vote to approve the site plan review in accordance with the Quincy Zoning Ordinance, Section 9.5.1, and issue a special permit under Section 5.1.17 parking waiver, subject to the following special conditions. Number one, the applicant. Number two, the applicant shall appear before the city's Historic District Commission and shall be responsible for adhering to the decision of the Quincy Historic District Commission for this project. The applicant shall continue to work with the Adams National Park Service during this effort. Number three, the applicant shall continue to work with the MBTA to ensure that construction of the proposal along with the MBTA red line does not interfere or adversely impact the operation of the line. Number four, the applicant shall adhere to all comment letters issued by city departments and peer review consultants, including Inspectional Services Review Letter dated October 19th, 2016. Health Department Review Letter dated October 17th, 2016. Department of Public Works Review Letter dated December 13th, 2016. City's Engineering Peer Review Consultant Review Letter dated January 10th, 2017. City's Traffic Peer Review Consultant Letter dated December 12th, 2016. City's Traffic Engineer letter dated January 11th, 2017. Number five, prior to the issuance of an occupancy permit, the applicant shall provide the planning department with fully executed lease agreement, which shall provide for the exclusive use of 7 parking spaces on the property known as 7 Thayer Street for a period of 5 years. Upon the expiration of 5 years, the planning department will review the use of these spaces and determine whether an additional time is needed for the use of these spaces. If the planning department determines that there is continued need for these spaces, the applicant will forthwith provide the department with an executed 5-year extension of the lease. The executed lease shall be recorded with the decision. Number 6, the applicant shall submit to the Director of Inspectional Services a copy of the revised stormwater plans that are part of this decision to determine whether the order of conditions, DEP file number 0591378, issued by the Quincy Conservation Commission on September 7th, 2016, needs to be amended. Number 7, the applicant shall be required to obtain any necessary sewer connection permit and street opening permits from the Department of Public Works prior to the issuance of a building permit. Number 8, the applicant shall submit a construction management plan to the Inspectional Services Department at the time a demolition permit and the building permit application is filed. Number 9, the applicant shall develop and submit a dust control plan to the Department of Health for review and approval prior to any site activity. Said dust control plan is to be implemented during any site activities to ensure compliance with state air quality regulations. Number 10, the applicant shall develop a rodent control contingency plan prior to the commencement of construction activities on site, which will include the name and contact information for an on-call pest control company. Said rodent control plan shall be developed and submitted to the Department of Health for review and approval prior to obtaining demolition and building permits. Number 11, upon the completion of construction and prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy, the applicant shall provide the city with a check in the amount of $25,000 to be used for roadway improvements. Number 12, upon completion of the project, the applicant shall furnish to the planning department and city engineering office the digital file as-built plan showing all utilities, building footprints, reference bounds, and benchmarks defining the total site, facilities, and rights-of-way. The hours for construction, number 13, the hours for construction activities for delivery of materials will be as follows: 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. All construction and delivery shall be prohibited on Sunday unless same are approved by the Chief of Police for Sunday activity. That was the recommendation.
Mr. Stevens, it's my understanding that the Historic Commission has considered this and there was a vote. Can you? Oh, okay. All right. I have a executed document for a certificate of appropriateness for pursuant to Chapter 40C of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Historic Districts Ordinance of the City of Quincy. The Quincy Historical Commission hereby issues a certificate of appropriateness for the work described in the accompanying application and listed exhibits. If any conditions are imposed, they shall be enforced in the same manner as in the building code. The applicant may proceed with proposed work provided a copy of the certificate is filed with the inspector of buildings and issues a permit when required. The building permit is not required for exterior painting and some other work, but a certificate is necessary and should be delivered to the contractor. This certificate is valid for 6 months from the date thereof. The application was approved. The wet Newport Avenue elevation be presented to the commission, indicating the final use of the clapboard on the projecting bays and turning the corner on Bridge Street, with an articulated in and out cornice line and fiber cement panels on the recessed portions of the facade. Submitted drawing is to be accompanied by a final color and material samples for the commission's records. Condition 2, the existing 28 Mission Arbor Vitae be maintained in good health during construction or replaced with similar sized 8 to 12 foot evergreen species with a potential 15-year maturity of 25 feet as stated at the presentation. 3, deciduous growth in the MBTA right-of-way by a good faith collaboration with the Boston Property Development be cultivated, maintained, and enhanced to maintain seasonal green buffer screen as rendered on the drawings A601. And number 4, as stated, all roof top condensers, solar panels, and other rooftop equipment be masked by the height of a parapet from the eye level as viewed from the rear of the Adams house. And it was approved, a certificate was approved on 1/22/17. I have that entered into the record. I have one other piece of correspondence, and that was emailed, and even though the hearing was closed, we've always allowed email correspondence to come in afterwards. It's a letter that was addressed to the director, Mr. Fetzes. Dear Mr. Fetzes, I was at the planning board meeting on 1/11/17 in which the board did not vote on the above proposal. I'm very concerned about the recent development in the area. I'm not against the construction, as I know housing is needed. I'm more concerned with the overnight parking. Our neighborhood has and will be inundated with additional vehicles parked on the side streets. Most of the vehicles belong to the residents of the Hamilton on 1025 Hancock Street, which choose to not pay for the space that is available to them on site. I know the city has bylaws with regards to parking that must be met before approval of a project is allowed to proceed. The problem, as I see it, is that when parking is not included or deeded as the condos are at the old central building on 1022 Hancock Street, people will choose to park on the street. I'm of the opinion that the developers should not be allowed to make parking a separate fee, as it will only add to the parking crunch in the surrounding neighbors. Sincerely, Jim Nichols, 86 Butler Road. Okay, we have a motion.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to approve as outlined by the department.
Okay, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.